The president actually listened to the ground, to the people on the ground.
No, the president does not listen very well until he's forced to. Like the time during the Gen Z uprising, he purported to listen. But generally, he does not listen very well. Part of the reason is that he believes he knows. And keeps on saying that he Kenya tutaibadilisha. And the kubadilisha is his way, whatever that way is. Now, the advisors he's chosen, some of them may be very good. But there are also others who are jokers. You know, but so you wonder why would he be picking jokers as his advisors? Because he does not seem to have a very high regard for the public, for the people. So the other day he was said to have claimed that he does not need advice because he has a PhD. You know, so, and the people are saying something is wrong, and he says, "What are you saying is wrong?" And I have a PhD. So you shut up. That sort of, so, you know, it came out very badly for him. He's not the only one who has a PhD. Very many. And so he gives the impression that he really does not care because he's the president. I remember there is a time he said that he was given a sword. Na si ya kukata mbuga. So you can see now that kind of statement. Somehow arrogant. That what people think is not the issue. It's what he wants because he is the president. And of course there are times when the president may need to assert himself. But many of the times he needs to listen. And to adopt policies that are not going to be counterproductive. Yes, it's true that the shilling has been stabilized. That is quite true. And we've seen the petrol prices come down. That is quite. That's quite. But that is not felt. In part because so many other things are wrong. The taxes, exorbitant taxation, makes people's pockets appear as if they have holes that are becoming bigger. So the money disappears. I heard there was a discussion because, you know, by law, every employee is supposed to have at least 1/3 of his gross salary going to his pocket.
At least 1/3.
At least 1/3. I think there are some people who are trying to change that. So it can be even lower. Because the taxation is taking already more than 1/3 and other things. And anyway, and we don't know how the discussion will go, given the type of parliament we have, or the MPs.
Now, Prof, do you feel like the issue that led to the 25th June, the Gen Z uprising, has been sorted? Do you feel like they have been addressed?
They have not been addressed. And there's an assumption that the president and his friend, Raila Odinga, have found a solution. They have found a formula for dealing this. Raila told us the other day that the reason he decided to go to RUTO was because there was going to be a coup. And he wanted to stop a coup. Somehow he has a habit of claiming that he was stopping a coup. So he was stopping a coup, he went and whatever happened. The concerns are still there. The high taxation is still there. There is a man called John Buddy, who is now in the treasury, and he is the same person who told us that Ruto's cabinet is a skunk. So he's not joined the skunks. And It says that he's busy trying to bring back those taxes, issues that people said they didn't want, to find a way of them. But then we have the other day, there was a proposal that MP salary should be hiked up by about almost 400,000 shillings per month. So people are suffering. You have a taxing them. And then you say you give yourself, and of course, if the MPs get that, you can imagine the ministers will get bigger. And the president. I mean, they are giving bad optics. So when people say, now what's going on? Now, some of the bad policies, like the Adani deal, the very idea of giving a national symbol to foreigners is an insult to intelligence. And it turns out that Adani, the man who has had very many dealings worldwide that are questionable.
And he was indicted, I think.
Yes, in New York. But it turns out that he's part of the Indian, an instrument of Indian foreign policy. Because he said to be very close to Narendra Modi, the PM. So whatever he does with his blessings, and because he's promoting India's interest. You know them, and to that extent you cannot blame him for trying to promote India's interest. But you blame those people who get took for not being smart enough, or for ignoring their own national interest to serve somebody else's. And it's good people made a lot of noise. And President RUTO purported to stop it. Although there was a question raised, where is the evidence that it is stopped? The evidence has not been produced. But the Adani was a very good example of bad policy, whoever came up with it, because it implied that Kenya's sovereignty had been given away. There's also a talk of what KICC going, and then a few men. Even the health thing is said it's still said to be connected with Adani. So you have this Indian entity comes and takes over the whole country without the Kenyans being involved. They don't know what's going on, and that's because they trusted the president to look after their interest, but then they find out that that may not be happening. So now the health disaster, because it is a disaster.
It is.
And then we are told that 104 billion shillings disappeared into the SHA, which is not very clear what it is. So today you have some people say they are getting treatment and they're getting, but you also have many more who are complaining that they are not getting the service. A few may be getting it, but there was that interesting episode of Kimani Ichung'wah complaining about SHA when one of his relatives or friends had a problem. Yet he's the one who had been talking about how good it is. So there is that problem. The health system is collapsed, which is very unfortunate. Those of us who have been around a little bit remember when you could just walk into a clinic, public clinic, get treated, and you get your medicine, and you sort of come back another at this time for a follow-up.
Now the system has been completed.
Now it's just there's nothing. And that's part of now the poverty creation. That your health is not looked after, and when you are sick, you cannot get medicine. So you have to go begging people. That's poverty creation. It's poverty. The education system is disjointed. There is a CBC. I don't know why it was introduced anyway, but when you look at the rationale for it, it was very similar to the arguments that were made when they were introducing 844. Very similar. So you wonder was a difference. But anyway, that's a different matter. But it's not working.
It's not working.
You know, the preparation was poor in terms of the material, the human resource, even the structures. Completely confused. And so you wonder, why did you have to rush into these sort of things? But that's a different matter. Then came this awkward formula of deciding who goes to the university and does not go to university. Not because of qualifications, but because somebody thinks you are rich.
Based on their financial needs.
I mean, somebody sitting there saying, "No, you look as if you can afford this much, so here." And the person being told to pay this much maybe worse off than the one who is paying nothing. You know, because it's very subjective.
It was discriminatory.
It's discriminatory. And that's why you have thousands and thousands of young people who are not going to the universities and pursue the courses that they were qualified for or they should. And that's neglection of duty or responsibility, not duty, the neglect of responsibility by the country. Yes, because the country has an obligation to educate its youth the best possible way. And so scrapping the old formula was a major mistake. And one of the tragedies was when the vice chancellors were called to the State House, I think, and they officially endorsed. You know, but of course they didn't have much of a choice. Otherwise they would lose their jobs. So they all clapped and said, "It's good, it's good."
Actually, they supported it.
I mean, they had no choice. You know,
we also have seen the court that also have upheld the. It was challenging court.
So but you know, so you sit there and you look at it. The whole thing, the thinking is warped. And part of the reason maybe why it is warped is because the people making policies are not strategic thinkers. They're not critical thinkers. And part of the reason they are not critical thinkers is because they have been told to ignore the humanities and social sciences. So no, you don't need that. Okay. So you don't have to worry about the human mind, the way people think, the people's interest. You just you say, go and do some STEM somewhere. And but don't ask questions, just do STEM. But when it comes to policy making, there is need to consider seriously exposure to the social sciences and the humanities. And we do have quite a number of people who have very little exposure to any of those things, yet they are making policy.
They don't have
the proper exposure. And therefore they have a problem thinking critically. And not just critically. They have a problem using common sense. Because it's not common to everybody. And because at that level, you really need people who can use common sense. Critical thinkers, common sense, combine the two of them. So that if something comes up, you think about it. What are the consequences of this to the country or to whatever? And it appears they do not think about that. They just wake up and say, this is a policy now. Did you think of the consequences? No. Then what are you doing? Because if those people who came up with this had thought of the consequences, they probably would not have done that. But so why did they not think of the likely consequences? Because they are not strategic thinkers. And some of them don't use common sense. And why is it that they have deficit on It's possible because they were never exposed to the areas that encourage people to be critical thinkers, the humanities and social sciences. And therefore, they have deficit in policy making.
I get you.
So you can see there is something wrong somewhere. And the consequences are what we are seeing. It said that those who are in power, they say this is what we are going to do, and they don't want to hear anything else. Whether they are wrong, they assume they are right because they are there. And then now that the consequences of that failure are the ones we are dealing with. And these are the ones that make people believe they are getting poorer instead of getting richer. They're getting poorer.
Okay, now, Prof, let's not take our eye on the tour that the president has just concluded on the 5-day tour in Nairobi. Is it of any help to the Nairobians? Do you feel that it have achieved anything?
No, the president is desperate. These are campaigns. He's back in the campaign mode. Back in 2022. And that's why he's going around and car rooftops. And it's campaign mode.
What is this campaign meant for? What the 5-day tour meant for to achieve?
Well, testing grounds as to his supposed popularity. He has realized that he's very unpopular.
He has lost it.
And some of that unpopularity is blamed on Gachagua. The Rigiji. Although I don't think he's the one.
He has become one of the fiercest critics.
He's a very sharp critic of the president. The same way he used to defend the same system. He's now on the other side from the time he was kicked out. And the fact that he was kicked out unfairly, and that because that's the perception, has made him very popular. And instead of disappearing into political oblivion, seem to have been rejuvenated. And that has worried the president very much because he didn't think that would happen. So he has tried to go, like you mentioned, Nairobi, to see whether he can, his presidential popularity will carry him. Unfortunately, it didn't work out very well. In part because people are suffering. And when they suffer, they say he's the one.
They attribute to him.
They attribute to him. If like this is the issue of the medical thing, whom do they attribute it to? It's him. The issue of education, it's him. And on top of that is this claim of things being done wrongly, the incompetence, which translates to corruption. Apart from bad policies, it also seems to be tailored to facilitate some people becoming billionaires overnight. And we have a few people who have been showing off their new wealth. Some will say they've got a watch about how many millions? And then the shoes and belts and show off. What a long time ago, those things were blind called what? Conspicuous consumption.
Conspicuous consumption.
They have to be seen. Not to drive just a good car, but a series of heavy duty cars, the biggest, the most powerful. And so that kind of thing on show off at the very time that people are suffering. So that's a contradiction itself. And when people say they are carrying 20 or 10 million shillings in their briefcase or in their pockets to go and say they are donating to a priest, to a preacher somewhere. You say, wait, what's this? So the optics have not been very good. So the president has been trying very hard to see whether he can convince people to believe in him again.
Yeah.
Because people don't believe him. And that's why they have all those names.
Kaongo.
Yeah, Kasongo, Kaongo, yeah. Which they associate him with failure to be truthful. And it is very bad for a leader anywhere not to be believable.
Yeah.
Because credible leader, when he says or she says something, people pay attention.
Yeah.
And even if they don't agree, they pay attention and then point out this and this and that and that.
Yeah.
But it's come to a point where people ignore the president. And that's why they go around calling him Kaongo.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not a... Actually, it has not happened before. You know, it's a new phenomenon.
Against him.
The what?
The chance that we are seeing.
It's not working for him. He may need to figure out how to make himself credible.
Does he have that time to redeem himself?
He can try,
But
it will be difficult because first of all he's fixated.
Yeah.
And since he believes he's right,
Yeah.
even when he is wrong, he believes he's right.
Yeah.
Then it becomes even difficult to convince him because if he continues doing things that people believe are there to make them poor, although he believes he's doing the right thing,
Yeah.
then changing their mind is very difficult. The perception that his policies do victimize some people or favor others. It's been claimed that his appointments
That the president has. Yes.
and he was ignored.
Yes.
He went ahead and did the wrong things.
Yes.
And Moturi's base, the beef that you still have somebody there. It didn't work out. In the sense that Roko is not Muturi. Does not have the same stature.
They don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
Not only that, the way it came is just like the way Gachagua left.
And
Kindiki was put there, and people don't pay attention to Kindiki.
Yes.
Because it was seen to be unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, the president has the right to reshuffle his cabinet and reshuffle his people. But dismissals are supposed to be seen to be explainable. If they cannot be properly explained, then the president has a problem. And I think he has a major problem explaining the Muturi scenario. Because Muturi spoke and said, this is what's going on inside the government.
Yeah.
Very serious weaknesses. The same way Gachagua was supposed to fade, but instead of fading, he became bigger.
Yeah.
You know? And no matter how much Kindiki tries, and I think he's trying.
He's trying.
He's trying.
Yes.
But he still does not measure up.
Yeah.
Because of the imagery thing. So replacing Muturi with Roko is a non-issue. Because that's not the issue. Yeah.
Do you feel like the Muturi sees Muturi with the former DP, that is Rigathi Gachagua, their influence is enough to curtail the influence of Dr. Ruto in the central region?
Oh, yeah, I think they are. You know, there is no question about it. Gachagua's influence has been increasing.
Yeah.
Not, has been increasing.
Yeah.
You see, when he was the deputy president, Gachagua had this big desire to be recognized by the mountain as the leader of the mountain.
Yeah.
And it was not there. In part because of his own weaknesses. The statements which raised doubts as to whether he was mature. You know. But when he was unfairly marshaled out, then the sympathy level increased there. And give him credit, he's a good politician. So instead of lying down, he decided to rise up and create a counterforce. And it is that counterforce that has made President Ruto now run around desperately. Like the way he was in Nairobi, now he's supposed to be going to the mountain, then to some other place there. People
Are you waiting to see some hostility, some just a chance that?
Well, I hope people receive him well. They don't have to make noise. And now the attempted, if it is a revival of such people in the region, it's not very encouraging. Yeah.
Now, when you talk about the tour, we know that the president is embarking on the tour starting from tomorrow.
Yes.
Do you feel that there are projects that need to be commissioned? Is there a project, or is it just you have just said, it's just a campaign to test whether he is still popular?
I'm sure they will find something for him to do and be seen to open a lounge or encourage.
Yeah.
But, or maybe to revive. I think he can revive things. They say, we are going to revive this rather than start a new one because it's already there.
Yeah.
Like the road, the Maroa, Keno Maroa road, which was neglected. Some parts of it, they were neglected, especially as you get to Karatina. They seem to have been neglected. The Mau Mau road is completely neglected.
Okay.
And so he can say, no, we are going to revive this, and those kind of things. But he's not going to start anything new. And even if he starts, very unfortunately, he is not likely to be believed.
Okay.
That's the bad part.
Yeah.
No, there was a time when the president said this, people believed it.
Yes.
And sometimes it happened.
Yes.
But now the president says something and people don't believe it.
Yes.
That's the bad part.
There's a perception that when he go to the central part, that he's actually going this, how the reception actually will actually determine how he'll be. Everything will augur out on the on this camp 2027 elections.
Well, we are told that money has been poured.
Yes. And we have seen the former deputy talk about that.
And they're even giving prices for activities.
Yes.
And that's what people should demand to be paid.
Yes.
That for clapping you get I don't know how many thousands.
Just for clapping.
For allulating you get 10,000. You know, there's kind of funny. No, there will be the MPs and the governors are going to recruit as many people as they can.
Okay.
And so there will be some crowds.
Yeah.
Whether they are paid crowds or there will be some crowds who may not be very enthusiastic.
Yes.
And if it's true that Mungiki is on duty, then they will beef up a few people there and there.
Yeah, yeah.
But it will not be as what it used to be. You know, during 2022, the crowds were genuine.
Yes.
They were genuine.
Yes.
This time there will be doubts as to whether those crowds are genuine or just a few paid people and maybe a few people of questionable character being there. It's a different ballgame altogether. And so the manufactured audience is not a good gauge. But we hope that wherever he goes, people will be civil to him. Because you don't want, although sometimes there was a little fracas in Muranga about between two camps. And Samude's car was messed up and all those kind of things, which is kind of prelude to, but we hope that that will not be the pattern.
Yes.
The president should go, and even if there are just a few people, he should be received well by those few people, and say what he needs to say, and then move on to some other place. And I think there is a lot of effort to avoid being lured into some mischief, because it's possible. Yeah.
Do you buy the idea that many have said that he is actually going there? As we speak on that, we have seen that there's some people who are doing the comparison of what happened to 2005 to Kibaki regime when he was doing the referendum. Yes, and we saw that yes, I don't quite remember, but there's one side that the RUTO Raila side.
Yeah, they were together.
Yeah, and we actually saw the recall of the ministers, and we have seen this repeat itself, just like during that time.
No, I think people are misreading the times, the situation.
Yes.
The 205 referendum was about a particular document.
Yes.
Whether people wanted a new constitution or not. And that constitution was something that was manufactured after a lot of bargaining.
Yes.
It reduced the powers of the president by creating the position of prime minister.
Yes.
But to some people, it did not go far enough and make the prime minister the executive prime minister, almost more powerful than the president. And so that was the issue. And the north side, called the orange, they had RUTO and Raila, and even Uhuru were on the same side.
Yes.
And they had a very good organization. The other side did not want to win. That's what it appeared to be.
Yes.
Because there's the time Minister Mishuki was busy harassing the youth, calling them Mungiki,
Yes.
instead of trying to make them vote.
Yes.
And the mayor of Nairobi at the time was someone called Diki Wadheka, who was busy harassing hawkers. So you see there and wonder, what's going on? These people don't want to be there. Even did not have a secretariat. But I think both sides really did not want the document for different reasons. There is a rumor that Kibaki might have voted no himself.
Yeah,
and his people.
Yeah.
Because there were things they didn't like about it, about that document.
Yes.
And he was very quick to say the document has been defeated or rejected.
Yes.
And he added very quickly, remember, there is no constitutional vacuum in the country.
Yes.
There was a constitution. All that had happened was that the voters, the Kenyans have said they don't want this draft. But there is a what?
Yeah.
There is a constitution.
Yes.
And so he went ahead and fired a few people and reorganized the whole thing.
Yes.
Now, the part of what made that referendum memorable, not so much that people voted yes and no, is what the arguments have been made.
Yes.
There were those who thought that the referendum was on Kibaki,
Yes.
that if the North side wins, then he should get out of office.
Yes.
And we had a few foreign ambassadors saying that, chairman of the electoral, the board, Jasper guy was one of them. So going around, if the orange wins, the Kibaki should get out of office. You say, wait a minute. You are voting for a document. It's not the government which is an issue here.
Yes. Yes.
It's just how the Kenyans want. And that's what he told them, look. That in itself annoyed a lot of people.
Yes.
Because their expectations, wrong-headed expectations, were not realized. Kibaki did not get out of office because of that. And then that started a preparation for the crisis of 2007.
Yes.
2007 was manufactured there. Yes. So for different reasons. Now, what did Kibaki do with 2005? He simply fired some people and appointed others and went on.
Yes.
Now, this is not the same thing here. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
What we have here is the president decides that his deputy is not good. Within 2 years, he wants him out.
Yeah.
What did he do? Well,
there are those who believe that the president used his deputy to cling to the position that he has today as the president.
No, they campaigned together. There's no question about it. You see, the 2022 election, that was Raila's election to lose. And he chose to lose.
Yeah.
It's not so much that RUTO won. It's Raila who lost.
Yeah.
And why did he lose? For one, his main supporter and funder, Uhuru Kenyatta, he himself had lost credibility.
Yeah.
So when he told people things, they said no. After all, you are responsible for the following. Because there were some mistakes that he made. And people were complaining about those things.
Yeah.
Uhuru is the one who had told them kumi kumi. And so so when he turned against Ruto, people say, what went wrong? And nobody came out to explain to the public where the feud was between the two men who had looked like twins, when they began.
And sometimes they are wearing the
people say, so what happened?
Yeah.
And so it made Uhuru look like a very ungrateful person. Now, in the second term, Uhuru's second term, Ruto intensified his own presidential campaign.
Yeah.
And one of the people he made ministers the other day, William Kabogo, had told Ruto, you have to campaign for this position. Don't wait for it. No, you have to campaign. You have to. Kabogo told him that very clearly. And he said, yes, I will come. And he did. Now, he took advantage of Uhuru's weaknesses.
Yeah.
Before the 2017 election, they had people, some people had been grumbling that they were neglected, particularly in the mountain area. And it was Ruto whom cooled them down.
Yes.
And he said, no, the president has not neglected you. It's only that he wants to be re-elected. And so after he's re-elected, you see what he will do for you. So people, oh, now that makes sense. It made sense, eh? So he had started entrenching himself in different ways, sounding like he's the reasonable man of all things. Now, when the election, the double election, because Maraga said you should repeat the voting, he's the one who went up everywhere campaigning. He campaigned more than Uhuru. And all that was entrenching himself. And, now, in the second term, whatever happened, the friction became open. And as Uhuru went for Raila, in order, he kept on saying he wants peace. So for peace, for the sake of peace, we have to talk to this guy. And talking to him means what? Whatever he wants, you give him. So there was that impression that Uhuru is surrendering everything to Raila. And part of the seeming deal was to get rid of the number 2.
That's the deputy president.
You know, undermine him or cut him. In order to please who?
To please the
new friend, the good friend. It is Uhuru who gave Ruto the name Tangatanga.
I remember.
Remember when he told people, mkiona ukijanga na Tangatanga huko, mwambie shida zenyu. And Ruto took that very positively. Because he told Uhuru, you have given me permission to go around, to go everywhere. And at one time he purported to give you a report. Ile kazi ulinipea. This is what I've been doing. This place is like this one. This, you know, they took advantage of that and did a very good job. But the reason it is Raila and Uhuru who lost the election, as opposed to Ruto winning, he won by barely 200,000 votes. There was an assumption in the Uhuru-Raila camp that because they have the system, they have won. And actually it was Oburu who said that, very openly said that, that now we have the system, we have won. The danger with that kind of mentality is that about 700,000 people in the Lakes did not vote. And he lost by only 200,000. If only 300,000 had voted extra from that area. Second, more electoral stupidities. They are the ones who told us that they didn't have agents. How can you not have agents? You know, it does not compute. And maybe the reason they didn't have agents is because they had the system. So a lot of things were done wrongly. When they should have been done properly and they could have won. And they did not want to get advice to listen to other people, say, try this, or watch out this. They did not listen. There are some people who became very rich in that campaign. Even though it was a lose, they ended up losing, but some people were comfortable in their pockets as a result. So, and some people were celebrating before the votes were even finished counted. I know there were people who had prepared to celebrate KCC.
Even without
they did not want to look at things in the way they are. So, it was Raila's election to lose. And he lost because of mistakes he made. On the other side, you give Ruto credit. He and Wamunyoro campaigned very hard. And the surprise is that they barely won.
Yeah.
They barely won
Yeah.
because they did not win big.
Yeah. So
And the reason they barely won
yes.
was because the other side blundered so much,
Yes.
and because they believe they have the system there for everything.
Okay. No, Prof. As we wrap up, maybe I would ask you which is the majority side and which is the minority side, according to you?
Well, the court pronounced itself and said the Azimio is supposed to be
the majority,
but then it is the speaker who makes the decision.
Yes.
And the speaker, I think, he still maintains the Kenya Kwanza. Is the
majority.
Yeah, but then there have been some changes.
Yes.
And that's why it is a mongrel.
Yeah.
So some people in Kenya Kwanza have been kicked out.
Yes. We've seen that.
So people in, there's no need of saying Azimio.
Yes.
People in ODM can get in.
Yes.
It's not Azimio.
Yes.
And one thing is clear, that Raila is very good at negotiating for his team. Because everything you see there, it's just the ODM who are getting in. Forget about those other people. And they do very well.
Even at the PSR appointment. That has just been recent.
No, if Raila says you are going to be something, you become. If for some reason he thinks you should be a PS.
Prof, do you feel it is a time for Raila to retire and retire from active politicking?
Well, what I feel is irrelevant. His father died waiting to become president in 1994. And he feels very strong.
Do you feel that he still have a chance in 2027?
Yes.
He does?
Yes. Especially if Ruto continues blundering. That they might team up, but it's seemingly looking like they might team up with the Ruto. It's 2 years is a long time. And why would they team up with Ruto if he thinks he can get it?
Because Ruto is almost at the verge of actually being, you see everything, whatever is happening.
I think they can, it's a possibility they can gang up. That's true. If they think that Gachagua is going to be a serious candidate.
To make a formidable.
They might do that because one thing they have in common is both of them don't like Gachagua. And the reason Raila was giving for supporting Ruto was because he feared if you remove Ruto, it's Gachagua who is going to be president. And you don't want that. So you don't want that. So you might as well be with Ruto to avoid Gachagua being what? So it's a very funny thing with logic. The same, in 1982 when he was involved in the attempted coup. And when asked why he was doing, he said, no. He was trying to stop Jonjo from having a coup. So in this case, he did that in order to stop Gachagua from whatever. No, it depends. There's 2 years. And even when he was going for the AU seat, he kept on saying that he's going nowhere. Addis Ababa is just 2 hours away. Flight.
They actually call
Yes. And then his party kept on saying they are having a candidate in 2027. Who else other than Raila can be a candidate? I don't see anybody else being a candidate. So, they kept on saying he's going to be a candidate. So we take it by...
you don't feel it's time like Raila needed to nurture another people from his camp?
Well, there are a lot of people... No, a lot of people would like him to do that.
There's Anyang' Nyong'o.
Anyang' Nyong'o is going nowhere. No, Anyang' Nyong'o is a bright man. He's a bright governor. So he's Orengo.
There's Orengo.
And Orengo more than Anyang' Nyong'o. Would like to appear to be. But Raila will not let them. They tried to be independent in 1997, and they saw dust. By the time they went back to Raila.
So they can only survive when they are at the...
You see, I think maybe Babu Owino is the one who looks as if he's been trying to...
First of all, Prof, talking of Babu Owino, do you think that he'll take the Nairobi governorship?
It will be difficult.
Yeah. Him.
Yeah. Well, he has a chance just like everybody else.
Compare that with the Dimple governor.
Who?
Sakaja.
Sakaja? Sakaja has been messing up.
Yes.
And he got in through a combination of factors.
Yes.
The anti-Uhuru Raila camp.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Kenya Kwanza fellow, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
And a few other things.
Yes.
But that one is fragmenting.
Yeah.
Now, he will get some votes.
You mean Babu?
Yeah, he will get some votes. Whether there will be enough for him to jump over is another matter.
Yeah.
And
he's a young, energetic.
at least he's got he has got time on his side.
Yes.
He can make a dent. And
do you feel it's his time to try now and come 2027?
Well, he can build a base. I think he needs to build. Now, he's coming out very well as an alternative to Raila.
Yes.
And I think that's what he's trying to build himself up.
Yes.
And with time, he might become that. Not in 2027.
He is a man to watch.
He's a man to watch. As people of the lakes, they see who is available, who has stood out.
Yeah.
There is a time when Orengo would have been it. But Orengo is now getting on the other side of the hill.
Yes.
So, and Babu Owino has been projecting himself as the new young.
Yeah.
And sometimes they claim that they are linking up with Dede Nyoro as the very babies as of the future.
Yes.
And see whether they can build credibility.
Yes.
Now, like Raila, Babu Owino is a Nairobi boy.
Yes.
Officially.
Yes.
But he has some nice following in the lakes.
Yes.
And he can, if Raila was to get out of the way, he can make some inroads.
So you feel like Babu would inherit, and if groomed well, he would come?
No, he's a force to reckon with.
Okay.
He's just as rough as Raila.
Okay.
You know, there was a joke at one time, some circles. People complain, how come Raila does not groom anyone? And then somebody said, and what about Babu Owino? Yes. So don't say that he's not grooming anybody. It's Babu Owino.
Yes, it's Babu.
Yeah, who is just as rough as Raila, the way Raila used to be. He's a lower version of Raila.
Yes.
And but then there may be others who made. And what Babu tries is to create an image of a clean man.
Yes.
You know, politicians have a problem being clean, but he tries to be a man of the people.
Yes.
And especially Warembo.
Yes.
So he like that,
Yeah.
And so he is likely to have a following.
Both from the lakeside and even from...
I mean, he's, if he comes out as an admirable alternative and somebody who takes into account other issues than the narrow ones, he has a future. It is not a guarantee, but he has a better future than many other people who would like to be the ones. Edwin Sifuna is also a man to watch.
Yes.
He's a man to watch, very articulate, creates the impression of being a principled person.
Yes.
And if he's a principled person, then he can speak well.
Okay.
So when they sign up that document, he's the one who kind of read and said that we are agreeing to only this part.
Yes.
You know?
Now, Prof, as we wind up now, do you feel like you are going to get a credible IBC commissioner based on what the recruitment that you have seen on television going on?
No, we can only hope. There are about, how many people are being interviewed? 11.
Yeah.
11 or so.
Yeah.
And some of them have raised questions, but they also have some very good people. At least one or two people whom I know to be level-headed.
Yes.
You know, I won't say which ones. But, yeah.
Yes.
But I think they have got a mixture.
Yes.
So I think they'll get a good chairman.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that once somebody gets there, he has so much responsibility that he ends up disappointing those who thought they were going to put him there.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you remember at one time William Mutunga complained that some people thought they owned him. Because William Mutunga is a civil society man. And when he became Chief Justice, he was very conscious of that office, to do things right. And some people in the civil society who are thinking, we have our man there. Say, no. You know Kevoito?
Yes.
Samuel Kevoito.
Yeah. He died when we are young. He died?
Yeah. You know that. He's the one who conducted the 205 referendum.
Yeah.
And the North Side won.
The North Side won, yes.
Yes. And Kevoito was supposed to retire.
Yes.
And do you know who stopped him from retiring? The ODM.
The ODM.
Yeah. Because he had done such a good job with the referendum, he should be the one to continue being chairman.
Yeah.
And they are running around saying, no Kevoito, no election.
Yes.
The man eventually agreed, but he really did not want it.
He is one who conducted the distributed election in 2000.
Yeah, because he was forced there.
Yes.
He did not want it.
Okay.
Because he was supposed to have retired. But the belief was that since he did this and the North Side won, if he is there, then you are sure you are going to win. Yes. If he is there. And so he looked at the way things are and came to the conclusion this is what he has as the evidence, which annoyed some people. That's not what he expected you to do.
Okay. Yes.
So he eventually had to leave. So when he was asked who would, he said, I don't know. But from the data that he had, Kibaki won very narrowly. Okay? Very narrowly, but he won.
But we have a clip of him on TV saying that he didn't know who won.
Yeah, I mean the overall.
Yes.
But from the evidence that was at hand, that's why he announced Kibaki.
Okay.
No, because that was the evidence.
Yes.
Now, were there some funny things? There were some constituencies that were reported to have had a turnout that was almost 100%.
Yeah.
You know,
It's kind of
so I remember asking some Zungu who came, say, how come you are not talking about where there was 100% turnout? And you're talking about 70%. Yes. You know, of course, there were the figures, some things happened in different places. And when the investigations was done by Kriegler, because the claim was that things were done at KACC.
Yes.
And Kriegler said, that's rubbish. Nothing happened at KACC. Whatever may have happened somewhere else, it was not where? Not there. That's what he said. And everything tallied properly. But Kevoito ended up being a very miserable man.
Yes.
So they brought in Hassan.
Isaac Hassan.
Yes. Bright man. And one of his chief executive was Oswago, Major Oswago. One of the candidates for the chairmanship. I don't know. I don't think he's going to go far. And that way, so it said this was a deal. chairman, chief executive. And the assumption was that everything would go well. And they did whatever they did. But it didn't go the way some people expected. So they were accused of eating chicken and hounded out of office. They had to be paid for terminating their contract before time. Premature, yeah. They were paid good money. And then that's when they brought Kevuito in. And not Kevuito, Chebukati. And Chebukati was known to be sympathetic to the supposedly good side. But once you are there and you look at the evidence, what do you do? He couldn't. He said, "No, there is nothing you can do about it." Of course, he did the 2017
election.
Yeah, he did that one, isn't he? Yeah. And the 2022.
Yes.
Before the election, the public was assured nothing can be done, nothing, there is no tampering here. Put all the safety nets. But after the election, then you start saying, no, there was something wrong here.
No, Prof, basically, based on the timeline of the commissioners and everything in place and the resources that they require, like we are ready and we are going to have a credible election come 2027.
It depends on who gets into the commission.
Okay.
And how honest they are. But it also very much depends on the politicians themselves.
Yes.
If they want to create doubts, they are very good at creating doubts. Even where
like the government have a project, they have their preferred candidates there.
Of course, the president has a candidate to be president himself, and he's controlling a lot of resources.
Yes.
You know, that's not a debatable issue. The challenge is now for the electoral commission to avoid being sucked into the president's schemes and things like that, or the other side, whichever way.
Okay.
And that's why whoever gets put there has to be a very strong person.
Okay.
And not just anybody, but a very strong person who can stand on principles.
Yes.
And who can even be ready for very rough.
Turbulence.
Yes. I don't know, in 2022, so at Bomas, somebody had a room we wanted to hit Chebukati.
We saw that.
And nothing was ever done to that fellow.
Yes.
And it was Olesapit. Olesapit, the Archbishop.
Oh, okay.
He's the one who saved Chebukati.
Oh, yeah. I remember. There's a drama that...
Yes, what the intent of that was, we don't know. But there are a lot of rumors. So we would hope that they will have a good commission of responsible people. And once they are there, we hope that they'll be guided by the evidence and not their biases. So we know they are biased, like everybody, but biases can be minimized in order to do the right thing.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your time. We greatly appreciate.
Welcome.
Maybe we think going forward this is something maybe you could be doing. We need to get your, not only your insights, but your guidance, your advices.
Well, God willing, we shall help where we can.
Yes. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
Yes.